Okay guys, welcome to part 2 of setting up your own home studio. I've basically put everything together, connected all the cables, made sure everything is in its right place. So yeah, let's have a look and see what I've done. Okay folks, so here we have it. We've got the studio all nicely set up, and as you can see there's not a lot of cables or wires in the way, so everything is nicely tidy. And there's also a nice bit of space at the front with space for a notebook or an instrument to set up there, which is great. And what I thought I'd do is just show you from left to right how the studio is set up, just to give you a bit of an idea of how I decided to do it. So firstly, we have the Aston microphone on a shock mount on a microphone stand, which is adjustable from short to tall dependent on your height. Then I've got my computer, which runs Logic. Then we've got the left and right audio speakers, the Yamaha HS7s, and then there's the Focusrite Claret 4 Pre USB. Then to the right there's the biodynamic open and close back headphones. So a few things to note about the speakers is firstly they're just a bit off the table, which means that the sound isn't kind of caught up a little bit. They're also at an angle, which means the sound isn't so flat, and it means that when I sit in the middle I can hear everything nicely and clearly. The other thing is they're away from a wall. They're about 1 meter away from any wall, so the sound doesn't kind of hit against any ceiling or any wall, and the sound is more full and luscious, I would say. The other thing to note about this Focusrite audio interface is there are 4 inputs, 1, 2, 3, 4 instrument and vocal inputs. The preamps are really good. Then on the right of that, is the monitor volume, so from 0 to full, and you basically go probably midway. Then next to that are these 2 headphone inputs. And if you have 2 musicians, it's great because they can adjust their own volume to how they want it. So there you go, a bit of a front view of the studio. Then if you go all the way round to the back, you've got the plug, which has 4 inputs possible. And you have the back of the speakers and the back of the interface. So when you're setting these speakers up, what you want to do is you want to make sure that before you turn it on, they're at 0 volume. Because if you have them set at full volume, of course, something might blow up, or your ears might get damaged, or you never know what could happen. So start at 0, go to midway on the left and the right. Then what you also have is the cables, which are connected from the speakers into the back of the audio interface, these green and blue cables. And just a bit of a description about the back of the audio interface. Firstly, you have the on-off button, you've got the power, which goes into here. You then have the USB input, which goes from here into your computer. You've got the MIDI ins and outs. You then have 4 line outputs. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. These 2 are going into the speakers, obviously, but then you also have space for 2 more. Then finally, you have these 4 line inputs, which means you have 8 in total. So you have 4 at the front and then 4 in the back. So in total, you could potentially record 8 instruments, which is great. So if you go all the way around back to the front of the studio, just a couple of things to note about this space is the reason why I decided to do the record, the new Taylor Birds record here, is because it's pretty inspirational and beautiful where I am. And that in turn feeds into the music. And obviously figure out what you want to do for your own studio. How I'm doing my record will not potentially be suitable for you, but this just gives you a bit of an idea of how I decided to set this space up. And finally, just a bit of an idea of what these beautiful speakers sound like. I recorded some moss with the MIDI sprout up in Mount Gabriel, which is near to Skull area in Ireland, and using this specific synthesizer, which is dark mallet layers, you can hear what the MIDI signals sound like. So Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Send me a comment on the links below. Let me know what you think of the studio. If you have any thoughts, any questions, just send them my way and I will try and answer them as soon as possible. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the new Taylor Birds tunes. So finally, here's some music for ya. Lots of love. Totally untreated, not mixed, not mastered, totally fresh.